Okay, and we're live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is going to be the last part of the story time, so I'm excited.
Yes, a little epilogue to wrap things up here.
Should we start by talking about the weather? Because I feel like it's a good, adequate small talk.
Yeah, for sure.
What's been like over there?
Well, today we were supposed to get an inch of snow and it never happened, so I'm grateful for that.
You don't like the snow?
No, not particularly. Even though I am a December baby, I don't like the cold. But
so, when is your birthday? Or was it already?
No, it's this Sunday.
This Sunday? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna write that down. So what date is that? This Sunday? 22nd?
Yep, 22nd.
Oh my god.
I know.
So are you doing anything fun?
I'm not sure what we're doing yet. It's a surprise.
Oh god, do you like surprises?
Not. I like mild ones, if that makes sense.
If it's not loud and overwhelming to the senses.
100%, yes.
I can so relate. I prefer knowing all the time. I prefer knowing everything all the time.
Well, I don't like necessarily. Actually, it's funny. I was just having a conversation with my friend about this the other day that I don't like knowing. I like going into books blind. I don't like knowing spoilers beforehand.
Yeah.
But when it comes to planning events, usually I like to know. But when it's my birthday, I can make an exception. I don't mind a surprise. That's fine with me. Plus, like, my friends have good taste. I'm sure they'll choose something fun for us to do.
Trusting your friends that good.
Mm-hmm. They know.
Hold on. Do you hear my cat crying?
I do. It's so cute.
I just now heard her. She's crying outside the door. I'm going to let her in.
She sounds a lot like one of our cats. He makes like that pigeon cooing
I have
sound.
no fucking idea what's wrong with my cats. The past 2-3 days, because I think one of my cats, so the older one, Midnight, I think that something happened to her, that like she is injured in some way.
No.
Because she is constantly hissing and threatening to attack Ivy, the smaller one. I don't know why, but it's probably because she is hurt. Because there's just no other explanation. Neither one of them was outside or at the vet. Yeah. So, when they come back from the vet, they have the scent, like they find it hard to recognize each other because the scent is unfamiliar because they went outside. But that is not the case. So I'm thinking it's definitely because because Midnight is hurt.
Or she could be sick too.
Yeah. So she just, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a few days, and if it doesn't improve, I'm going to take her to the vet. I need to take them to the vet anyways to get their annual shots, but just a second. Let her in so she can stop crying. Spoiled. Okay, now she's here, and we're good. So, where were we? Oh, yeah, so birthday celebrations.
Yeah.
That's cool. I usually don't celebrate my birthday. I feel like with milestones in general, it's giving the person an existential crisis. Like with the holidays, with New Year's Eve, with birthday, it kind of makes you think like, oh, this is a special day. So I need to reflect more and to see, where my life is going and all that shit. And if it was just a regular day, you would not be thinking these thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it just, it's not, I don't know, it's not good for my spirit. So I just try to, put it in perspective. And to be honest with you, most of the time I find myself working on my birthday, not really doing anything special. I'm sorry if it sounds grim.
No, I took off for my birthday. Even if we didn't do anything, it's a day when I can have the excuse to take a day off, basically.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not doing anything, it could be a rest day. But yeah, actually, what you just said reminded me. I had an existential crisis on my 18th birthday, which in hindsight sounds like I'm still so young. I don't even remember why. I think it had to do with school, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm 18, like I'm about to graduate, like what am I doing with my life? And like a little mini meltdown on my 18th birthday. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, it's. I just feel like it's not, when you reach a certain milestone, it's not really helping your. I mean, but it also like depends on the person, because not everyone self-reflect and drive themselves crazy and think into migraines. That's not what everyone's doing. Some people just are able to live their lives and enjoy.
Must be nice.
I know. I mean, I wouldn't know, but yeah. Anyways, I have a lot of vacation days because I never take any.
Oh, actually, I do too. I looked at my vacation hours, and I think I have like 60 some hours of vacation.
Yeah.
Which that would be like a week and a half off if I wanted to use it. So we'll see. I might cash that in soon.
Does it always happen? Like, is it for like that for you every year?
Yeah. So I work full time, so I accrue paid time off faster than people who are just there part time. And I also don't really use my vacation time ever, so I've just been building it up. But the last time I used it was in May when I went to Boston. But other than that, I don't think I've used it for anything else. So.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I work part time now, but even when I was working full time, I don't know why are we like this? Why? I don't get it. I don't get it, because I remember when I was working full time and I was in a job that was, because I do work in a team now, but since we all work from home, then every person's kind of stuck in their own world. But
yeah,
I do remember that other people living a different life when I was working, for example, at a call center, and I would go to work physically every day, and I would sit next to people, in the next cubicle, and I remember people taking vacation days. I don't know if every month, but almost every month. Like, they would take a day here, a day there.
Yeah. I mean, I look at like the people I work with. I look at their like, when I'm doing their time card, it says like how much paid time off they have and everything, and I see like so many people with like zero vacation days. I'm like, what the heck?
How did you get there? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because at my old job, when I used to live in my hometown, when I quit and moved to a different city, they basically just cashed out all my paid time off and wrote me a check, and it was like $1,200 because I had never used any of my paid vacation time. So they just gave that to me as a check. And I was like, wow, I don't know if I should be sad that I never used any of this vacation time or what, but
or happy because it paid off.
Because it paid off, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so I don't know. It's gotten so cold here recently, especially at night, but I just feel like I don't have the right to complain about the cold. I feel like I only have the right to complain about the heat. But it's gotten as cold as 11 degrees Celsius, and that's like 51 Fahrenheit. Wow. Which is not that cold, depending on like where you are in the world, but at least for me, that's cold. Anything below that's suffering. That's real suffering for me.
Here last around December, actually I think it was closer to like January, we hit like negative 20 Fahrenheit.
Oh my god.
The wind chill. Yeah. I think it was like, it wasn't actually that cold, but with the wind it felt like it was like negative 20 at some point. I want to say it was January or February of last year. It got really, really freaking cold here.
I just don't know how people do it. I remember Hork from Russia. I remember one time he uploaded a selfie wearing that weird, thief mask.
Oh, like a ski mask?
yeah, those. And people in Russia, they walk the streets with that all the time, and it's normal to protect their, I don't know. I don't know how can anyone live like that.
Yeah, I mean, typically when, like, here, when it's that cold, it doesn't stay like that for long.
Yeah.
But you can kind of just deal with it for, like, maybe a week or two, and then
Yeah, it comes and goes in waves.
yeah, very true.
But also, global warming and all that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like, those extreme changes are only gonna get worse and worse.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're not getting smarter about it. I don't feel like it. I mean, I do know that there are, all sorts of projects and like companies, high tech, they try to come up with all these solutions, but if it's not being implemented in the day to day, and amongst the population, if it doesn't affect our day-to-day lives, then it's not really doing anything. It's just a nice pretty idea that no one is applying. So yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I keep feeling like, oh my god, this is gonna sound so dark, but I keep feeling like we're mankind, we are in a race against time to save the planet.
Oh yeah.
And it's like we're sleeping awake,
I feel like every year they say, "Oh, we're just about at the point of no return," and then they'll say the same thing the next year and the next year. I'm like, when are we actually at the point of no return when it comes to climate change? Have we hit it? Have we not hit it? What's going on?
I feel like that's the trap right there, because you don't have like, it's kind of like smoking. I always think about, when people like people who are unable to quit smoking. I always think about, imagine if you're addicted to cigarettes, right? But imagine if someone told you, and not like a doctor or anything, say that the angel of death shows up on your doorstep and says, the next cigarette that you light up is going to be the last cigarette that you'll ever smoke, because by the end of it, you'll be dead. Would you light up that cigarette? The answer is no. You would not. You would throw them away, because you would be in that situation that you have your back pressed against the wall, and that's it. Like, that is it. That is your last final fucking chance. No more, games.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same, because as long this is our problem as humans, that as long as we don't see the change with our eyes, we're not motivated or triggered to do what needs to be done.
It's like like you put off, this is gonna be today's gonna be my last day smoking, and then the next day comes and I'll push it off to the weekend. This weekend will be my last pack of cigarettes, and then suddenly the weekend comes and I guess maybe I can just push it off and I'll quit next week, and then the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah, I'll start eating healthy on Monday. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm gonna start this new diet next week, and it never, and next week never comes, and that's it's just, I don't know. Going vegan is, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be preachy, but going vegan is probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we should probably get back to the story time.
Yeah.
And just be done with it, fucking finally. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Gareth a little more, and kind of the weird interaction, or not really interaction, that we've had, because so where were we last time about that? So he made the anti-Semitic channel. It was all very icky.
Yep, I think that's where we left off last time.
Yeah, but I do remember, because we were still following each other on Instagram at that time, but I do remember that on several occasions he was liking my pictures and stuff, like my posts, and I thought it was weird, but I was like, whatever. And then at one point, I just he would upload a new story, and then whenever I would click on it, and he would do it every time So like hours before he would start a live stream, obviously to promote it, to get people, interested or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I would click on the story, and then it would say story unavailable or something like that with a black background. Essentially, it means that, because on Instagram you have you can only choose like close friends, or like you can choose to hide your story from certain people. So I guess that's what he was doing. I don't know. But I realized at first I thought it was, a bug or something. But as it went on and on, I just realized this person is hiding their story from me.
Yeah, he just like blocked you or whatever.
Which is weird.
It so like, you couldn't see it. Which
is weird, but okay. And after that, we started, you and I, we started our podcast. And I was still kind of, not religiously, I'm not watching him religiously anymore, but I would every now and again kind of pop to check out and see what he's talking about, what his audience is talking about in their live chat and whatnot. Just because some of his audience, they're people that I used to interact with. So just out of curiosity more than anything, we were doing the story time, and then Hork was so amused that he decided that it was absolutely necessary to let Gareth know that I was talking about him in my podcast.
Oh.
And he actually, he asked me for permission on our server to link him to the story time. And honestly, I don't expect much or anything out of Gareth. Like, I don't think there's enough emotional growth to understand what he did. And like because I mean, there is no sense of responsibility, because when someone claims to be a nihilist, then it's just, what, it doesn't matter what I'll do, if I'll do anything at all. The chips are just gonna fall wherever, and that's it. So there's no point in anything, really. Like, there's no point in, I'm not gonna acknowledge my my actions. I'm not going to take responsibility for anything, because, things are going to happen the way that they're going to happen anyways. Nothing happens for a reason anyways. Like, it is what it is, essentially. So Hork was like, hey, can I let Gareth know that you're talking about him in your podcast? I was like, you know what? I don't feel the need to let him know, but if you want to do that, then go ahead. I don't mind it that much. Telling the story and, just starting this podcast in general, I don't think that I've ever expected it to be a huge success. If people are listening to this and they're entertained and interested, and they take something, whatever it is, from this podcast, then that's great. But even if they're not, I'm just having fun talking to a friend.
Right.
I just think of it as like a fun conversation recorded with a friend. And then we upload it, and, who knows. So I didn't mind it too much. I do think, I feel like, because let me know if you're the same, but I feel like I just don't have the natural, or like what people would expect me, or like how people would expect me to react to certain things under certain circumstance. So that is why I come off as this alien, like not human, because I would have these responses, and, just something in the process from how I feel to what I how I let it show. It's something in that process is just not common. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people would not expect me to react a certain way in a certain situation, and then I just come off, I don't know, like inhuman. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
And it's just I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it comes from a place that it takes me a long time to process my feelings or like process certain things, because I will, overanalyze a situation to death. But I don't know. I think that with emotions it's a bit different because it does take a while to bring me to that place.
I feel the same way.
And yeah, I need to stew and wallow, I guess.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that was why it hit me in a very, I don't know if a vulnerable place would be the right thing to say, but it hit me in a weird spot when Persephone was trying to, she was saying, "Oh my God, you are so like obsessed and you have feelings for Emery and you're not even realizing it," and all these things. Like, why won't you, just admit it or whatever? Because we would talk for hours on voice chat, on text. We would just talk all the fucking time, and that's like the ultimate tell, really.
Yeah.
And it made me question my own feelings, because I was thinking, oh my goodness, could it be that I'm not that aware, or like that I'm not that connected to the way that I feel? Like, am I favoring my thinking over my feelings so much that I don't see what's right in front of me? Because it definitely did happen when I was trying to rationalize her behavior all the time. I was all the time trying to think, what did I do to this woman to act this way? I was trying to rationalize it.
Yeah, people like that, you can't really rationalize it.
And the reason was right in front of me, but I didn't see it because it came from an emotional place. She was just jealous. There was no
rationale behind it.
Yeah, there was no reasonable reason. There was no explanation. That was not it. And I just couldn't see it, because if the if the roles were reversed, I would not act the way that she was acting. It's just so unrelatable. But it definitely like hit me in a weird place that she would say these things. Then I would insist, and I'd be like, no, I am not. I don't have romantic feelings towards this person because I'm just not there yet. I definitely felt like I could be there, but
at the time you weren't.
I'm still not, but the thing about me is that I will always see the potential of a relationship, whatever it is. Like, and if I have very, very good communication with someone and intellectual chemistry, then I realize that there's a good chance that it could possibly in the future, I don't know, develop into something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the problem with Emery, like, I really regret that, and it's unfortunate that he was trying to get me to a place that I was just not ready. I was just not ready to go there.
That's fair.
And yeah, and it's just it sucks because it kept because we were running in circles in that sense. Like every conversation would eventually lead there. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, back to the whole Instagram, thing. And then so Hork linked him to the podcast, and I know that Gareth listened to it, and he had his bullshit reaction, whatever, and then he unfollowed me and deleted me, whatever. And I just thought it was so funny.
I'm honestly shocked that didn't happen sooner.
I'm shocked that it happened at all, because when you're aggressor is definitely like too much of a strong word for it, but you're the one in the wrong, and you're the one doing that. It's just, I don't know, the narrative is so false and so backwards. It's just fucking sick.
Yeah.
And he also, it's not really recent anymore, but he also started dating this girl, Anya. Have you heard of her?
Oh, I think I saw a post about that, yeah.
So, this girl, she used to be on the dumpster, actually. And then...
The dumpster. I love that.
The dumpster fire. And she left, like, a couple of days after I joined. So, there was like zero interaction between us. I've never even spoken to her.
Why did she leave?
Some drama, and I do remember Gareth saying something like that she was trying to poach and like steal people from his server into hers, because she had this server, I don't know, something about I think that she had a band or something. And she's an actress, like she went to acting school, and I think the most horrible thing is that, so I didn't know this person, and she left, and a lot of people from our server were on her server and knew her better than me. So I asked about her, like, because whenever someone would bring her up in conversation, so I was curious. I was like, what's the story with this Anya girl? And not a single person who knows her had one positive thing to say about her.
Damn.
Every time that someone attested to her character, it was something negative.
And how long was she on the server for?
I don't know, but I think it was months, probably even more longer than a year, because I think that the server was founded or existed for a year in 2021, and then I joined 2022. So I think that she was around for a good amount of time.
Okay.
And that sort of thing made me think of Pride and Prejudice, and the importance of reputation. And I was gonna ask you, actually, like, what do you think there's value in a person's reputation?
I do, yeah.
Because I always used to be the sort of person that doesn't give a fuck. And you have the two type of people. You have the rebel that says, oh, I don't give a fuck, but deep down they really, really do. And then you have the people that say they don't give a fuck, and they actually mean it, and they don't give a fuck. And I'm definitely like the latter. I'm definitely the latter, but I mean, it also like depends on the person. If it's someone that I don't know that well, if they're not important to me, then I genuinely don't give a fuck what you think about me. I don't care. Like, you don't know me. You haven't reached, like, you haven't peeled enough layers of me to actually reach like the important layers.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, the risk that you run with having a bad reputation, obviously, is that it can close off some opportunities for you before they even start. Especially, like, looking at, like, the business side of things. Like, if you have a reputation for being, a shitty person, nobody's gonna want to work with you.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe less important in some social circles, but just in general, I feel like maintaining a positive reputation is probably going to be more of a benefit to you than just not giving a fuck at all.
But at the same time, it's like when, in a professional in the professional aspect, like you have, I don't know, like you have, obviously you have a lot of reason to want to, you know, maintain a certain positive reputation and whatnot, but how is it possible that so I'm not going to do it, but I can name 5 different people that I've spoken to that know her better than me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they know her as well as her mother, but they know her better than me. They used to interact with her probably on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And they don't have a single positive thing to say about her. And it's just, honestly, first of all, it made me realize that matches made in heaven are probably a thing. Like, it's probably real. And second of all, it's just, I don't know, I instantly, I don't even know why, because I usually don't do it, but I instantly put myself in her shoes, and I thought to myself, damn, if I was her, I would probably look for a way to restart my internet
persona.
Yeah, I
would.
What
specifically were they saying about her?
Just terrible things, that she's an attention whore, that she just doesn't give a fuck about people, like that she will use you and then dump you.
Are these just subjective, like, just opinions, or is this fact, like, has she done actual, like, things that make people, or is it just...
It's their personal experience with her.
Okay.
And it's just like, you know, if you're the type of person who treats everyone like paper cups, you know, it's just... And I remember that when I first heard that they were dating and that they're actually a thing, because I mentioned that he didn't have a very positive experience with, like, dating and the other sex prior to that. I think that it just ended very, very badly with his last serious girlfriend, and it did something to him. It's like scarred him. And I remember that my initial response was very, like, I was happy for him. I thought, because I do often feel like people who are miserable, they tend to make other people around them miserable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I was happy, and I thought, damn, if he can do it, anyone can do it. And like, for real. But then I realized that I don't know if being in a relationship can fix you. I don't think that it can. I think that you have to reach a certain level of, like, you have to
have some self-awareness.
Yes, and also, like, you have to be somewhat complete. I mean, obviously not perfect, because no one is, but complete to a certain degree as a unit before you allow yourself to, you know, connect with someone else. And it's just, I don't know, like, this couple, it just, I don't know her, but just based on the horror stories that I've heard. And yeah, then it just, I got a bit pessimistic, because I don't know, I don't think that in this case 2 wrongs make a right. I just think that a match made in hell, I guess. But yeah, it was a good laugh, because people who actually knew them both said that it makes sense. Like, both of them were in acting school. Both of them think that, you know, the planet Earth revolves around them. And yeah, just not very nice people.
I'm interested to know how this is going to all play out in the end, because
I mean, they don't even they're not even in the same continent, so I doubt it's gonna last. But I don't know, I don't know if, I mean, again, this is becoming very depressing, but I don't know if people aspire to meet their soulmates anymore. I think that people just meet and they use each other to pass the time and whatnot.
Oh, that's why, like, a dating culture is at a rock bottom right now.
Yeah, you know, people just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's what it is. It's not...
It has to do, I think, with a lot of how everybody just wants instant gratification nowadays. Nobody's willing to put in the work to actually commit to a relationship and build something with anybody. They just want their quick bang and then
100%.
go separate ways and then never have to deal with them again.
Yeah, and you also have all these temptations and social media.
Yeah.
And there's always that constant, you know, that little voice in your head saying, maybe you could do better than that. Maybe you could do better than that. As if upgrading people, you know, you're upgrading people the way that you would your fucking iPhone software or whatever.
Yep. 100%.
So that was that. That's kind of how he chose to leave things, which is fine. It took me a long time to process what went down on the dumpster, and especially like the anti-Semitic channel. So I never came across something like this before.
Yeah.
And it does take me a long time to process certain things. There are things that I will process very quickly, and like I will go from processing to reacting real quick. But with this one, I feel like maybe the podcast is kind of my answer, or like the closure that I needed. And this is coming 2 years later, you know? So like,
it's wild to me that how, like, the timeline of this, how things were spread out over 2 years.
Yeah.
Insane.
But I'm definitely someone who is in it for whatever it is, for the long haul. I'm definitely...
I mean, yeah, it seems like it.
I'm just that sort of person, really. Like, I feel like I can be very patient. And also with my reactions as well. Like, I'm never shooting from the hip. It's never been me, and it will never be me. I always need the time to kind of linger and stew. And I don't know, maybe it's not really the healthiest choice, because people, you know, who bottle it up, you know, one of these days it's you're bound to explode. And maybe people that, you know, allow themselves to explode a lot more often, maybe they're happier. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it comes from a place of like the fear of being wrong, that I would just rather contemplate every single possible scenario.
Yeah.
Rather than just, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't just analyze things to death.
But it's also just the way I am genuinely. Like, it's not coming from a place... I'm not going against my nature here. I'm going, you know, that's just the way I am.
No, I feel you.
And, yeah. So, that was that with Garrett. And ever since then, that's just, you know, he deleted me. And he also, like... So he unfollowed me, and he also deleted me. So I no longer follow him because he deleted me, obviously.
He removed you from his followers list.
Yeah. And that's it, really. I don't know. Yeah, that's it, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't know. And then once the dumpster was so this happened, this is the most recent event, like him deleting me and whatnot. But going back to the dumpster, I remember the last days of it were just, it was just me, Emery, Tegan, Persephone, and every now and again Marjorie. She was an artist, I think from Germany or something. She was super weird. Every now and again she'd be on as well, like join voice chat and whatnot. And I thought it was really funny because she was just really weird. but she
How
had
so?
weird, but she had these she had insight. She was in ENFJ, and they're also like they're very interesting people, and she definitely had a lot more emotional intelligence than me. And I remember like on one occasion, I think it was just me, her, and Emery in voice chat, or maybe Persephone was there too, but she said something like, or maybe no, Persephone was there, I think, and Persephone told her, because we were talking about kind of like the weird dynamic between all of us, and of course Persephone used every opportunity to, you know, kind of roast and get a jab at me or whatever. And then she said to Marjorie something like, "Oh, you don't really, you haven't been following what's going on here, yada yada." And then she said, "No, I think I understand what's going on here. You're jealous because Emery and Galia get along so well." That was so fucking funny.
Straight up called her out.
That was so funny, and I think it was also like the crack that kind of started helping me understand where she's coming from more. In that sense, you know, feelers are just, in that sense, they have something that we don't have, because when someone's acting, to me, it's acting crazy. I cannot find a reasonable explanation, a logical explanation to her behavior. I cannot.
Yeah.
But jealousy is not really a logical thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, but to Marjorie, for example, because she acts differently, you know, she functions differently, than to her, it's obvious. It's she sees it plain as day.
Right.
And yeah, so just going back to, I was talking the other day about how I was reading Jane Eyre about this guy who has a psycho wife, you know, that he's hiding away from the world and keeps her locked up. I don't know, maybe I feel like deep down Emery wished that he could keep her locked up somewhere and away from socials.
Oof.
No, but you know what? Looking back, I genuinely feel like he regretted bringing her around, because that's what he told me. He told me that he brought her around because he felt alone. He felt like no one liked him on the server, and he needed someone to be, you know, on his side, like in his corner or whatever.
I don't think you mentioned this before. That's interesting.
I haven't?
I don't think so.
So towards the last days of the dumpster, it became impossible to talk to him, and it just made me really sad, because I felt like I called her a bloodhound, because she was always sniffing around trying to see if I'm around or whoever.
Yep.
And it's not, you can't really be, I mean, there's already a difference, you know, when you're texting someone one-on-one versus when you talk to them in Gen Chat, you know, it's different, because you feel like there are eyes on you. It's kind of like you're never, if you and I were sitting and we're talking face to face, then we're going to be more natural than, for example, if someone puts a camera on us, you know, so the Gen Chat was the camera, and I knew that she was constantly watching. It just felt uncomfortable. And whenever we would talk and she would interfere and join the conversation, she would deliberately try to make me sound stupid, trying to make me look bad, saying all these things, and it's just impossible.
Yeah.
And so after the server was nuked, we were talking about the whole thing, and I said, why did you even bring Persephone in the first place? Because she really was the nail in the coffin of our communication, because it felt impossible, you know?
Yeah. I was wondering this from the start, why he brought her around.
So he was constantly. So the thing is that him and Zayn, they were like constantly competing for, you know, the edgiest troll award or whatever. And there was a double standard that Zayn would never or hardly ever get banned or kicked out of the server because Melissa and Tegan loved him so much. And so he would get a free pass for a lot of things, but then Emery would not be treated this way. Like, Emery would get, you know, kicked for every little thing. And they were both equally terrible. The only difference is that Emery was a troll and that was it. Like, when you would talk to him the way that I talk to you right now, he was not that level of bizarre. But Zayn was...
It was just an act, it seems like.
It was an act, but it was also like... It was an act, and... You could get him to be serious when he wanted to be, but Zayn was just genuinely school shooter weird. That was Zayn. He gave off creepy vibes, and that was the reason that I never, like, deep down, I never truly liked Zayn. I still remember one of the first things that he ever said to me. So, like, not a lot of people know this about me, and I try not to advocate it amongst the people who know me in real life, just because I don't want people in my real life to watch it. But I have an ASMR channel, and I don't want people who know me in real life to be watching my ASMR channel. Just don't. It makes me uncomfortable. But the people there were aware of my ASMR channel, and I was fine with it, whatever. But at a certain point, we were having this discussion about how ASMR is being sexualized, especially, and I mean on YouTube. I don't mean sexual ASMR made, for example, and uploaded to fucking Pornhub or something.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
just normal.
Yeah, normal YouTube family-friendly ASMR made by attractive women, okay? And it's not even, you know, attractive women with a huge cleavage that, you know, doing all these sounds that appear to be sexual. I'm talking, say, this normal-looking girl whispering to the mic.
Yep.
You know, no cleavage, no nothing. And people are, you know, sexualizing it, and it just fucking sucks because that is not what ASMR is in its basis. That's not what ASMR is for. And I remember him, because we were talking about it in Gen Chat, and then he DM'd me saying, I will kill anyone who sexualizes ASMR for you. And
okay.
If this was Emery, I'd be laughing. But because this was Zayn, I truly believe that he meant it. Because he's just, I'm sorry, he's just weird. He's just not, something's not okay
that is
up
like
there.
That is like 0 to 100 reaction.
To 1,000. 0 to 1,000. He's just disturbing. But going back to the original, you know, that they were not held to, even though they had a similar behavior, they were not held to the same standards, because Zayn would get away with so much more, while Emery got banned every other day, and then he would have to come back with an alt account, and it was just a fucking mess. And then Emery disappeared for a few months, and then he came back. I'm talking about when the dumpster was still happening. Yeah. And then he came back with her. And he did it because he felt like there was no one in his corner. Sometimes I feel like maybe some of it is my fault as well, because I'm just not that great at showing people how I feel about them. My way of showing you that I really like you and that I really enjoy your company is if we're on call for 6 hours straight, if I've
Right.
given you 6 hours of my day, that's the equivalent of, I don't even fucking know. Like, that to me is, that's a record.
Right.
But not everyone gets that. And I guess he didn't get it. I guess he didn't get it because, I don't know. It was just very fucking messed up. He would always, and this was happening during the time of the dumpster and also afterwards when it was just us after Gareth nuked the server. He would always make these remarks about Jonesy, and like the thing is, we've spoken about Kyle. He is a good-looking guy, right? I don't know. I like Kyle, but it's just we've never interacted the way that I interacted with Emery.
Yeah.
I never interacted with anyone the way that I interacted with Emery, but it was just, I don't know. I would make all these jokes with Kyle about his looks and all these things, but it was always in a jest. It was never enough. It was never anything serious. But then to Emery,
He's getting a little jealous.
Exactly. But then to Emery, it looked like I was flirting with Kyle, which I'm sorry, to me it's ridiculous. I like Kyle as a person, not so much in in other ways. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know, but he would constantly mention him, and at a certain point it started really annoying me.
He has like a weird hang up about it. That's
all the time, the time. And I think that, okay, this is gonna sound so fucking dense, but I genuinely did not understand where it's coming from. Again, it's like the Persephone thing. It took me a very, very, very long time. But then I would make jokes like, you keep bringing Jonesy up. I feel like you're having homoerotic fantasies about him that you're just repressing because you talk about him all the time. Or sometimes I would, straight up tell him, listen, if you're jealous of him, you have no reason to. So just, if you're feeling jealous, then just tell me that's the way that you feel, so I can finally make sense of every time that you're,
And what was his reaction to that?
Actually, it was terrible. I remember, oh my God, I was laughing like crazy. One time he said, hold on, I have to pull this up. It was so fucking funny. I'm sorry, Kyle's gonna hate me for this, but one time, remember when I said that I'm just not great at expressing my emotions, and he said that he took my side with merger, because we were kind of blaming each other, I guess, for the way that we behaved. But I mean, obviously, I was fine. I don't know what he wants. Like, maybe I'm stoic, but except for that, I was fine. I said, okay, so from where I stand, you made me feel like nothing. That's all. And you did choose Tegan, so don't fucking lie. He said, you should have tried harder. I said, try to do what? And he replied, to show me that you cared. That really was something that kind of made me think afterwards that, that, so, and then I replied, you wanted to play the who cares less game, not me. I don't read social cues. And then he said, then I guess you'll be stuck with Jonesy and Horkin Zane. Because he would always, would always, he would always kind of talk down on them and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you have something to say, just say it. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So I was referring to him, mentioning all these people, and they have nothing to do. This was already after the dumpster was nuked, and it was just the two of us talking. And he said, I defended you over my ex-wife, baby. I said, redundant. Your ex-wife is a fucking head case. And he said, you couldn't even take my side over some pseudo relationship you had with Jonesy.
Oof.
I said,
What?
I know.
Pseudo relationship.
I'm telling you.
I've seen the way that you guys talk. That's not a pseudo relationship.
I know. He said, I don't like Kai. I said, I don't like Kai like that. I don't know how to say it anymore. You're jealous. Just admit you're jealous and over nothing. There's nothing there. And he said, why would I be jealous? Do you think I imagine that autistic southern freak fucking you?
Oh my god. Ugh.
I'm sorry, but I literally wrote to him, I hate you because I'm laughing. I was laughing my ass off at this. Emery is just...
I hate that.
Why?
It's it just is really edgy.
It was so funny. Honestly, I feel like people don't... Or maybe it's just me, but one of the reasons that I really, really, really liked Emery and enjoyed his company, and I feel like just in general with INTPs, it's always true, that I know that they are so weird, probably weirder than me, that it instantly makes me feel like home. They're like the one type that I feel like, I don't know, they just make me feel so comfortable because they're just so weird. And I don't know, that was just, it was so funny. But yeah, that was just one interaction of us kind of looking back at the situation and everything that just went horribly, horribly wrong.
Did he ever admit to being jealous?
No, but I realized that there was always a tit for tat type of situation. Like if I brought up Kyle, then he would suddenly bring up Tegan. Almost like he was trying to use her the way that he thought I was using Kyle, which is insane. It's just insane. Yeah. But I genuinely, it took me 2 years to see it. That's like how bad it is for me as a thinker. It took me 2 years to see it. I remember that, like, for example, one time, this was also when he came back after the server was nuked, because it did take him a few months to come back. Once the server was nuked, I haven't heard from him for months, and I was sad, but in a way I was also like, okay, I guess it's just time, and it's a sign to put this all behind me, and that's it. It's just not meant to be, any of it. Like, whoever I kept in touch with, whoever decided to keep in touch with me, then it meant something. It meant that I was important to them. But if someone's not gonna bother to even DM me, then it just means that they're not interested.
Yeah.
And then he came back after months, and it just, it really did something to me, because I thought, wow, he cared enough to come back. So the days before the server was nuked, only days before that, we were on voice chat, a bunch of us people. And by that point, I'd already blocked Persephone. So when she was talking, so every person, when you're on a group voice chat, you have the possibility to kind of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You have the possibility to lower their volume.
Yeah.
Almost like, almost like a track. So I blocked her, and I lowered her volume all the way down, so she was muted. Mm-hmm. And then it was so funny because other people could hear both of us, and we were talking over each other.
That's really funny.
And I remember Emery was trying to get me to unblock her and kind of fix it, but I just refused to. By that point, I was so done with her. I was also done with Tegan, because I refused to forgive her for everything that she's done. I never forgave Tegan officially. Yeah. Which in hindsight was the smart thing to do. I'll get that in a bit. But when he came back, and I wanted to clear the air and talk about all these things. And he said that he's together with Tegan. That was so fucking cringe. And then I remember one time we were on voice chat and I told him, because I would never spare him my criticism as a judger. I would always, say things as I saw them. And even though I really liked him, loved him even, I would never spare him. I would always, tell him what I thought and be 100% honest. And that's like one interesting contrast between perceivers and judgers, that I feel like they're just so much more agreeable than us. Emery was like water. He was so, I don't know how to explain it. He was so flowy. Everything was just so easy with him. And
I know judges we're known for being more stuck in our ways and like not being
stiff, like so square and stiff compared to them.
Yep.
And being with someone like that, there's something, it's contagious. I'm enamored, by that. It's because it's so different for me. I remember we were talking about the Tegan thing and I said, listen, it's kind of fucking creepy that you're with her, whatever that means. She is 18 years old and you are 29. It's fucking creepy. That was when I feel like I kind of poked the bear, because he then went into debate mode and then he was like, okay, what's the youngest you would date? And I just feel like it's it's a trick question, because I don't have a certain age that I can tell you, you know what, under this age, I would not go under this age. I don't have that, because I just feel like it's so, it depends on the situation and the person. There's just so much that it depends on. And that was the answer that I gave him. And then he just started coming at me and was like, then you're a hypocrite if you don't know, if you don't have that age, then it means that you would date a 17-year-old, you would date a 15-year-old. That
well,
it means
that's not what you said, though.
Yeah, but, this is his debate hat on. So when you're not giving a straight and, black and white answer, then it just leaves an open for the other person.
That's such a poor argument, though. Just saying that
it is 100%.
I don't have a cutoff doesn't mean I'm going to date a teenager. It's not the same thing. It's not an equivalent.
Of course, which is why, I didn't take it too seriously. And, like, that's another thing that I really like about him, that we can fist fight and go really hard, but at the end of the conversation, no harm, no foul. No one gets genuinely hurt. It never happens. And I love that sort of interaction with a person, because with feelers, I always have to have my silk gloves on. Yeah. And it's just unbearable. I don't ever want to be in that situation anymore. When we were talking one-on-one, when he came back, there were a lot of situations that we would analyze in reverse. And he told me, that was just, hold on, let me find the message. Where is that? So one thing that, wait. One thing that I told him was that I felt like he never really liked me as a person, because, and my argument was, when you really like someone, you don't put them through what you put me through. Because he genuinely, like, first of all, a lot of the time, I mean, he claims that he was telling Persephone off and, trying to tame her and all these things. But it doesn't seem
like he actually was.
Yeah, but he said that he did that, but I have no way of knowing it, really.
I have my doubts.
if it was happening behind the scenes, I have no way of knowing that. I didn't see any evidence to that, but I told him that I didn't feel like he really liked me, because when you really like someone, you don't, you don't do that to them. And then he started saying all these things like, what are you talking about? You're trying to act like I never liked you. You were the first person that I liked on the server. When I first joined, those were his literal words. My eyes were on you. And that is something that I tend to believe, because we were always the two people that would interact with each other the most. And for the longest time, it was just me and him all the time, going back and forth. And the rest of the people, they came and they went, but that was the constant. And I don't know, like, afterwards, things just got way out of hand. But going back to the Tegan thing, when he was trying to make the point, he was kind of trying to protect his choice to be with her, whatever that means. And he said all these things. He was kind of exposing Hork and Jonesy. And he said, who was the only person who waited until she turned 18 to get in her DMs? Me. And Jonesy and Hork and many other men on the server were there when she was technically still illegal.
How noble of him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And, but also, this was also a debate that I found it very, very hard to take seriously, because there is no right answer. Like, how young would you go? I don't know, but I probably would not have, some weird sexual relationship with an 18-year-old online. That's just fucking cringe. And I told him that. And I would still tell him that. It doesn't, I don't know. I think that it's such a...
How is it that hard to find women your own age to talk to? Honestly, though.
But because it's easier to get someone like Tegan, who is impressionable, and, unstable, two-faced as fuck as well. I don't know what he was getting her to do, but I don't want to know as well. But you know what I mean. It's a low-hanging fruit, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we were talking again. We were analyzing situations, and then at a certain point, I said, going back to the Jonesy thing, I said, you need to stop concerning your pretty little head with Jonesy all the time. It's unhealthy, and it's making me believe you have some secret homoerotic fantasy about him. And he said, no, I only say his name because I know it enlivens you. It's not about me, it's you. I said, what you know is untrue, but again, can't argue with feelings. So he said, so you wish I adored you and had no other options. I said, I wish you liked me at least as much as I like you. And I don't think that you do. And he said, how so? So I said, when I told Persephone I didn't think you even liked me, I didn't lie. I mean what I said. The way you conducted yourself hurt me and upset me. When you like someone, that's not how you go about it. Simple as that. That to me is evidence that there was no true liking there. What you thought was harmless banter? Maybe. And he replied, the way you segregated the server and turned people against me, even though you liked me, isn't how you conduct yourself either.
What? What does he mean by that?
So I guess he means that because I wouldn't let him into my server. And he also, okay, so going back to that, that will explain it in a moment.
Yeah.
I answered, I did not turn people against you. I never told Tegan or anyone not to talk to you. All I wanted was a space that was troll free. That was, me talking about my server. And then he said, you told Tegan to stalk me and find information so you could use it against me. I said, okay, no, that's a lie. And he answered, "That's creepy as fuck. I still like you though." And then I replied, "It doesn't surprise me because she is a liar." He said, "You told Tegan to stalk me and find information so you could find it, so you can use it against me." I said, "Okay, no, that's a lie." Now, what was, if you remember, I said that when Persephone first joined the server, her and Emery had really weird conversation in Gen Chat, and some of it was kind of cryptic and just random and just weird.
Oh, yeah.
So me and Tegan, and this was before Tegan, knew any of them well enough. So both of us, like me and Tegan, we would text privately and kind of try to figure out what is the relationship between them. Are they really married, exes, whatever it is? And then Tegan said, "Let's see what we can let's try to Google them and see what we can find." And so we both tried. Nothing really came up for me. She found his poetry page. He writes beautifully, by the way. He's a very good writer. And that was it. And for a moment, we tried to speculate, are they really exes? Are they together? Are they swingers? Maybe they're looking, maybe they're looking for, I don't know, like they want to have a threesome with someone.
Looking for a third.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're trying to recruit or whatever. But she actually switched up the narrative, saying that I sent her to spy on him and use stuff against him. And that's just not true whatsoever. But I feel like Persephone and her definitely, like, they had every reason to try and turn him against me and, kind of feed him all these things to make me look bad. And it just sucks that he chose to listen to them. And I said that to him. I said,
I wonder if he is with, oh my God, sorry. What's her name?
Persephone?
Yeah, no, if he's with Tegan, what is her, like, is she okay with that? Clearly she was jealous of you, but is she jealous of Tegan?
So I remember during the last days of the dumpster, there was some drama with Emery, Tegan, and Zane. Apparently, he found out that she was still texting Zane one-on-one behind his back or whatever. And then he got super upset. And he was trash-talking her, saying all these things about how she's spineless, and saying, if you want to talk to Zane, you could go be with Zane. Like, don't
God, this
lie.
Is so
and all
dramatic.
This
is all so dramatic.
So juvenile, but whatever. But he was saying all these things, and Persephone was backing him up, and she was trash talking Tegan as well. Now, this is true. Tegan is two-faced, and she will change her colors based on the person that she's with. She has no sense of loyalty, she's not consistent by any means. When she was with me, she would sing a certain tone, and then someone else, she would try to appease them, even if it meant trash talking me, spreading lies, yada yada. But yeah, it just, what can you expect when these are the choices that you made? You made your bed, now lay in it. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. It was just very unfortunate. I
feel like this is such a long journey we've been on with this story.
I know. We did have, because we did have a lot of conversations, especially on voice chat when it was serious. Like, we had a good laugh when he's got a very unique and very, very good sense of humor, but our conversations many times were serious, and we did talk about the possibility of getting together, like for real, having a relationship. We were talking about these things. You know, I feel like on an intellectual level, which is probably like the most important thing to me, because I don't really care what a person looks like. I don't care what meat suit you come in. I don't care about these things. But on an intellectual level, I feel like we were so compatible, but there were certain things that just didn't work out. But it's also like the distance as well.
Yeah.
Because when we were talking about, okay, how are you going to get together with someone? I'm not going to meet him for a one night stand or a summer fling or whatever. That's not what I'm about. If I'm going to be with someone that I want them for, like I said, I'm in it for the long haul. That's just, it's just my personality. And it didn't work out. And, you know, every single time that we would talk about it, we would hit that dead end over and over again. It was just impossible to really get anywhere.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but you know, with him having family in the States, and I mean, it's already hard for him to be, you know, to live in England and then having to do that, you know, make that journey.
Right.
I don't know how many times, several times a year. And to complicate things further with the third continent is just not applicable whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It sucks. I also feel like I don't think that Emery. I don't know. I don't think that. Like, I don't think he will end up, or that the women that he attracts, in general, are thinkers anyway. I was not the rule. I was the exception.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like.
So yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's it. And
what a note to end on.
I know it's kind of sad because I don't know. Like I still have, you know, feelings for him, and I love him as a person. I really do. But I keep thinking about the Tegan situation, and it's not just because he chose Tegan. I think that your choices show who you are, you know?
Yeah, very true.
And doing something like that, it's almost like settling for a person. When it's a person, you can't settle on a person. You know, it's not a prize. It's not a second place prize, whatever. So I keep going back to this thought that he chose the certainty of her over the possibility of us.
Yeah.
And
he kind of took the easy road, it seems like.
Eventually, yeah. And it's something that I can't get over because I can't agree with that line of thinking because I'm not like that. And I think that that's where the road is kind of forking up for us.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I love him very much. I hope that he's happy.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed this story time. I don't know.
It ended up being what, a 4-parter? 4 parts, I think, right?
I think this is the 5th, actually.
Oh my god.
But I know. but it's over finally. You know,
it feels like the saga has come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to do some quick recommendations before we head out?
For sure.
I have been listening to, it's been so many years since I've actually read it, but I don't remember if I have mentioned this before for my recommendations, but I am listening to the Lord of the Rings audiobooks.
No, you haven't. Mm-mm.
I started listening to the ones, I believe they were published. Oh god, I don't remember when the first set of audiobooks were released, but I'm listening to the ones now that Andy Serkis did. The guy that plays Gollum, and he does a really good job on giving each character their own voice, and it's very, very entertaining. I would highly recommend that.
I really want to, because I only watched one movie, but I really want to read the books. I feel like I'm not, like, it's not, the story is not ruined enough by the movies for me, so I can just go into it relatively fresh, I guess. Like, clear-headed.
Yeah, I'm listening to the original trilogy on audiobook, and then I do own a lot of the other books too. I have The Hobbit and The Silmarillion, and then I have the books that his son had like edited and published, so I'm gonna dive into those after.
How many books are the official series?
Well, I mean, The Lord of the Rings is 3 books, but there are like probably 15 or so other books that are adjacent to the main trilogy.
Yeah.
And I own maybe 10 of those, so I'm gonna actually read them once I'm finished with the audiobooks.
Yeah, I think I'd like to at some point, but also like I have to catch myself in a very specific mood for fantasy, but I do want to eventually read them someday. I don't know. Okay, anything else? Man, I have so many racks.
That's it for right now.
I can't believe you only have one. Okay,
I know.
So
it's because I spend 12 hours a day at work or commuting to and from work. If I would have more recommendations if I had more time for things.
Fair. Okay. For me, so I've been getting into the holiday season, like the spirit and whatnot. And that means all those shitty Christmas movies are Netflix.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. I am that kind of person.
Oh.
I just, you know what, my life is just so fucking sad that I need that sort of sappiness in my life.
A little holiday cheer.
Yeah, I need that sort of sappiness. But I'm also like on a Chad Michael Murray. Do you know who that is?
I do. My god. I'm sorry. I don't see what people see in him. I'm so sorry. I don't
the
understand.
8-pack. What are you talking about? The 8-pack and the hair porn all the way.
Who is that other guy who is like a big celebrity crush? What is his name? Not Chad Michael Murray. It's another one.
Teen Heartthrob?
Yeah, oh my god, who am I thinking of? He was in a bunch of those movies, and I'm like, I don't understand why he's so popular.
Nick Bateman, maybe?
No. I'll look it up, but keep going.
Okay, let me know because I'm intrigued. So I watched, it's called The Merry Gentleman, but it's about this girl. She, she's from, she works for a New York ballet group, whatever, they're famous, yada yada, and then she goes back to her hometown, the small town, and her parents are about to lose their business. It's a music room or something like that, like a club, and then she has to put up a strip show for like male strippers so they can save the place, and he's one of the strippers and they fall in love. It's just really nice to watch him, without...
That is not where I thought that was going. Okay.
It's just, I think it's Oscar worthy, to be honest, because you get to see him without his clothes all the time. It's so nice. But yeah, and also I've been watching Sullivan's Crossing. It's a 2-season show so far. It's 2 seasons. It's very Hallmarky. It's shitty. It's very shitty, but Chad Michael Murray, so I regret nothing. I finally finished The Count of Monte Cristo, and
you did?
Yeah, finally. And I would like to watch. There's a French movie. I think it comes out tomorrow, actually.
Okay.
I'd like to check it out just because people are constantly complaining, and rightfully so, that there's not a single adaptation that is accurate enough. Which I understand because this story is so broad, and you have all these characters. It's insane. It's impossible to cram it all up to one movie. You have to have you have to turn it into a series essentially, and with the right funding and whatnot, because there's just too much to cover. And if you skip so much as one plot line, then it's not true enough to the source. So it's really tricky. But yeah, so I finished that, and the ending was brilliant. It's such a good read.
I do remember who it was that I was thinking of. It was Channing Tatum.
He's doing Christmas movies. What?
No, but he was he was one of those like teen heartthrobs where I was like, I don't see the. He looks like a thumb. I'm sorry, like I don't see the appeal for him.
I just this is exactly like my type though. I'm sorry.
No.
I love them. I know. I love them white, tall, 8-pack, and. What can I say? It's Hollywood. Hollywood fucked me up growing up.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but I recently started Anna Karenina. I really like it. It's a pretty easy read for a classic. I'm really surprised actually. But it's just super intimidating because of how long it is.
Yeah, it's dense.
It's also Emery's favorite story, so it's interesting.
I know it got mixed reviews, and I think we've talked about this before, but I did like the Keira Knightley Anna Karenina movie. I thought it was pretty good.
I haven't seen it. I cannot wait to watch it once I'm done with the book. But yeah, I also read. I know that you don't read this type of shit. Smart, probably, but I have to. It's like McDonald's. I have to read it every now and again. But I read Colty by Mariana Zapata, and it's it's this shitty romance about it's a sports romance, so spicy romance, whatever.
I've read a shitty romance book somewhat recently, so I feel ya. I
feel like my brain needs a break. But this is a sports romance, not my thing at all, to be honest. But I watched this book haul that this YouTuber that I follow, she did a video haul, and she was reading the summary, and it sounded kind of interesting, so it was on my list for a while, and then I just really wanted to start it. Now, this book is around 500 pages. That is so...
Wow.
I know, it's so not typical for, spicy romance or whatever. It's also not like super spicy because there's a lot, it's a slow burn. And the character is, is drooling over this guy, but there's no real action until the very end of the novel. When I first, before I started reading it, I thought, wow, 500 pages for romance is so unnecessary, but by the time that I was done with it, it felt pretty damn short. I loved it. I loved Colty. It's so good. I actually want to reread it soon. It's terrible, but yeah. So Colty, so not my typical read, but it's about this girl. She plays soccer, and she grew up like her entire family was just a diehard fan of Colty. He was this German, I think he's German, soccer player, like one of the best players in the world, probably like the equivalent of Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that, in the real world. But then, he had his fall from grace, and he got, he had his license suspended and all these things, and now he's stuck, in this crap job, having to train the female team, her team, and then she has to deal with this because she was idolizing him her entire life, and now he's her coach, and it's a disappointment because he's a total asshole. and then I don't know. It's just it was such a cute read. But yeah, now I just really have to, I don't know, take it up a notch with the Anna Karenina read. And I also recently purchased a few books. One of them was, okay, I'm just gonna name the titles real quick. So I have Fitzgerald's The Diamond as Big as the Ritz. Atlas Shrugged by... have you read it?
No, but I know
it's okay. Yeah, by Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand, yeah.
So I need to watch to read that, and I also need to read The Fountainhead.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested because they're very famous works. And also The Little Prince. I've never read it before.
Oh, I have it too, and I haven't read it.
Maybe we can read it together.
It's so short.
I know it's a classic, and it's a must read, but I don't know how I've never read it.
Yeah.
And I also got Naked by David Sedaris. I think that's how you pronounce it. He has this pretty famous book called When You're Engulfed by Flames. I think it's considered dark academia. I have it, but I haven't read it. But so now I have two books of his that I haven't read, but whatever. I found this really, really interesting hardback cover of... It's called An Anthology of Famous English and American Poetry. It's just really interesting. It's a thick, beautiful, very old book. Just really some name dropping: Alexander Pope, Abraham Cowley, Andrew Marvell, Richard Lovelace. Let's see who else. William Blake, Robert Burns, William Wordsworth. So yeah, just a bunch of people. Oh shit. The jacket completely, like, it's falling apart. But yeah, the jacket just completely ripped. Anyways, it was like $5, maybe less. So
Nice.
Yeah, so
Not bad.
not bad at all. And the last one I recently ordered online. I am so excited for this. It's actually like not as long as I'd hoped, but actually didn't know, but there's a book based on the philosophy of True Detective season 1. It's called True Detective and Philosophy: A Deeper Kind of Darkness.
Oh, I love those like pop culture and philosophy. That series is so good. I actually listened to the Harry Potter one on audiobook a long time ago, and I really liked it, and I'm listening to the Lord of the Rings one right now, actually. Those are really good books.
I just you know what, I read 2 pages of it and I'm already in love. And yeah,
they're probably not gonna like teach you anything new, really, but they're fun. They're a fun read.
Yeah, and I don't know, it makes you think. I mean, I think that, you know, consuming philosophy in your 30s, it's not going to be the same as in your teens or, you know, 20s, because you're already like so together as a person. But it's still very interesting, especially when it's anchored to something that you really like, for a TV show. And True Detective season 1 is hands down one of the best series TV shows that I've ever seen. If you've never seen it, go and watch it. Stop everything that you're doing right now and just go watch it, because it's fucking brilliant. I must have seen it 1,000 times, and I will probably watch it again. You know, I cannot hype it up, you know, enough. Just cannot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's pretty short. I honestly thought it would be a thicker book, but it's only
those books are all pretty short.
But it's only 200 pages.
I own quite a few of them, and they're all about that length.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. I will probably read that simultaneously with Anna Karenina.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. What are we gonna do for the next episode? Should we watch The Ninth Gate?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, so that's what our next episode's gonna be about. It's gonna be about The Ninth Gate, movie with Johnny Depp, who I love. And I don't care what you think about, everything that went down with it. I mean, I knew that my baby was innocent. I always knew that he was innocent.
My thing is, like, we're never gonna know. Like,
Really?
I don't think, no. I think that case is done and dusted, and I don't think that any new info is gonna come out, and I don't think we're ever gonna fully know the truth, because it's just, I don't know. It's very he said, she said.
Yeah,
with no, like, proof of anything.
But, I mean, I don't think that he has it in him to be a fucking psycho. She, on the other hand...
I don't know. I don't really... It's hard to trust celebrities.
Yeah, you think he is a very good actor?
I mean... Possibly. I don't know.
I think he's a fabulous
I just mean
actor,
actors.
But
I mean actors in general, not just specifically him, but...
She, I don't know, like, she gives me diabolical vibes. And Johnny is such a Labrador puppy.
Yeah. I just remember some of the jokes that came out of the when it was in court. What was that her dog stepped on a bee or something like that, and everybody's like clowning her for it. Yeah.
Have you seen the trial? Were you following it?
Very like lightly. I wasn't too invested. A little bit though.
I was following it, not really. I think I'd seen like every episode or whatever you call it, but not too religiously. But I was watching. I remember watching the summary like every time on YouTube and stuff. But man, people were invested.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, look forward to that in our next episode, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye-bye.